Hello everyone, and today we are in Whitechapel and we are going to follow the footsteps of Jack the Ripper. Nobody really knows how many people Jack the Ripper or the Whitechapel murderer, Leather Apron, really killed. But at least people agree that he killed 5 people, the canonical 5. In 1888 this area looked completely different. You wouldn't find those parks or wide roads. No, it was more small alleys and it was like a maze in this area. So in that time around 20 people could live up into those houses, and if you was living in a common lodging house this could even increase to 36, and 1,200 prostitutes were operating in this area. On the 31st of August 1888, Charles Allen Cross discovered the body of Mary Ann Nichols in front of a gated stable entrance. This was on Bucks Row, which is nowadays Durward Street. Her body was cut by her throat twice and her abdomen were mutilated with some few stitches around them. But it wasn't until the police examined the body in the morgue till they found those wounds.
Mary Ann Nichols, oh Mary Ann, your throat has been slashed and your soul has been damned.
Being strangled or killed wasn't that rare at that time in London, but having your body torn open and your organs pulled out, that was something terrific. Mary Ann was last seen on 18 Frall Street, where she was kicked out because she couldn't afford a bed for the night. Unfortunately, her next client was her murderer.
'Cause you took the hand of an evil man.
Nowadays Brick Lane Market features all those coffee houses, but if you turn right into Hanbury Street, that's where a week later, on September the 8th, 1888, the second murder happened.
My name is Jack the Ripper, but you don't know who I am.
Annie Chapman had a kind of similar story as Mary Ann. She couldn't afford a bed for the evening and was searching for a client to afford a place to sleep. At 5:30 a.m. she was reported to be seen with a dark-haired man wearing a brown deer stalker hat and with a dark overcoat with a kind of shabby gentle appearance.
Dear Annie Chapman, my sweet little Ann, I butchered you, darling, you poor.
An hour later she was found dead on 23 Hanbury Street with her throat cut open, her abdomen completely torn apart and her small intestines even removed and put on her right shoulder.
Belly of blood on my hands. My name is Jack the Ripper.
By now 4 unsolved murders happened, and then on September the 30th 2 murders happened on the same night, also known as the double event. Elizabeth Stride's body was found on Durfwild Yard, also known as Henrik Street nowadays. The assumption is that Jack the Ripper was interrupted during his killing because there was only one cut found on her throat, and this means Jack the Ripper wasn't satisfied for that evening. And an hour later the body of Catherine Eddowes was discovered on Milton Square. The person that found her body described her as if she was a pig cut in the market. Her throat was completely cut, her intestines were removed and put on her right shoulders, and her kidney disappeared.
Katie Meadows and Lizzie Stride, forgive me for slitting your neck open wide.
At 2:55 a.m. they found on Golston Street a bloodied apron with the blood of Catherine Eddowes on it. It was laying next to a chalk inscription on the wall saying, "The Jews are not blamed for anything." It is unsure if the inscription was related to Jack the Ripper's motives, but at least the police made sure that the inscription was removed before dawn.
My name is Jack the Ripper, but you don't know who I am.
In the meantime, the police struggled to find the killer. It had over 100 suspects, from surgeons to butchers to ordinary people, and it decided to give a reward for £500 for the person who could give the golden tip. On the 9th of November a landlord was going to collect his rent, and he discovered, according to his own words, the devil's own work. the most brutal murder that happened so far. Mary Jane Kelly has been found dead in her own room on 13 Miller's Court. Her body was completely disemboweled, her face completely hacked. Jack the Ripper removed her uterus, kidney and one of her breasts and put her under her head. Her heart was even missing from the crime scene.
Mary Jane Kelly, so pretty and dead, lying alone on your single
All 5 murders have been committed at the end of the month or around the weekend, and over time it became more cruel as well. Organs have been removed all the time. The police interviewed 2,000 people, investigated 300 people and detained 80 people, but Jack the Ripper could never be found. What happened to him? He could have died, he could have left the city, but no one really knows what happened with Jack the Ripper.
My name is Jack the Ripper, but you don't